Test. Okay, there we go. Now we got audio. Okay, fucking hell. Okay, we're gonna go
the intro
right back
all
to
over again.
Yep.
Well, now.
So we've been silent because I did not check audio, and for some reason audio got messed up due to an update. That's great. Okay, anyway. Episode 22 of the Beyond Pixel podcast. We're talking about VrChat addiction today. And that's, we're going to compare it to other addictions like smoking, drinking, things like that, and how it affects people. And is it really as bad as some people think it is, or say it is? Like, being addicted to VrChat, is it on the same level as other addictions? Is it on the same level as addiction to other games? Or is it something all its own? So we're going to go back around again and talk about it again, because everything just got screwed up for the first 5 minutes because I forgot audio. That was great. Golden. Professional.
Sorry.
A shit show.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, we
so,
need to bring back that name.
addiction to VrChat. We're going to go back around. We already talked about this. I'm the only one here that self-identifies as addicted to VrChat, and that statement right there is kind of funny to me. But anyway, being addicted to VrChat, I am, because I live in the middle of nowhere. I don't have other games that I play. I don't talk to people outside of VR, really. VR and Discord is where I socialize. So I don't really have much to do outside of VrChat. So I find it just easier to get in VR and relax as well. So, some people go to the bar and have a few drinks. I'll get in VrChat and have a few drinks. So, what were we talking about again? So, does addiction to VrChat, how does it compare to other addictions like alcohol, smoking, or other games?
I would think it's more of a dependency, honestly. It's an addiction, yes, but it's more of a dependent addiction. It's not like cigarettes with nicotine or alcohol abuse.
Well, nicotine, you get a dependence on it too, so it's more of a dependence, not an addiction.
No, because you get addicted to nicotine.
Addictions turn into dependence.
I guess. Fair.
They're both basically the same thing. They're just two different words to describe the same thing in the.
That's fair.
Anna, do you think length of time actually is would be a variable in that regard? Think about it. I mean, how many hours of VrChat would you have to play to be constituted as an addiction at that point? Are we talking, hundreds of hours, thousands of hours? Are we talking tens of thousands of hours?
Well, you know what?
Because it varies
since
from
we're talking
degree.
about that, let's go through how many hours each of us has. We've all been here since early 2018, the latest, right? So how many hours have each of us spent in VrChat? I have 7,356.
4,082.
I have 1,629.
Sobi?
3,966.6.
Okay, so it goes me, Cirque,
Then
Sobi,
me.
and Vampy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did fall asleep in VR a lot, but I also worked a lot. I worked 5 days or like 5 nights a week, so I couldn't be bothered to get into VR. And if I wasn't in VR, I wasn't gonna get on.
Same. I mean, I would have had a lot more hours if it wasn't for me driving truck for 2 years. Which, I mean, even then I was on for 2 or 3 hours every night almost. I'd have to skip a few nights here and there because I just didn't have service, so I couldn't play. Couldn't get on. But overall, I estimate over the last 6 years, I have spent average of 6 years, 4 times 5, 20 hours a week in VR.
Hey.
Xavier.
Oh, now we can
Hey
ask
guys,
him
they've been how many hours?
So Xavier,
Yeah.
how many hours do you have in VRChat?
Actually released a video
And
kind of
when did you join? You
talking
joined.
about
You joined in like
that. 2018. Joined 2018.
Yeah, you joined. Yeah. So how many hours do you have in VRChat right now?
Surprisingly, I'm at 3,000. Where is it? Yeah, that's about 3,000 hours.
Okay. So it's me, Cirque, Sobi, Xavier, and then Vampy. That's the order of who's spent the most time in VRChat.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say that you at any point had an addiction or a reliance on VRChat for something?
Early on, I guess it's hard to say addiction, but then again, I think almost the point of addiction is the first thing you do is deny that you have an addiction. So, like when I first got in, I was wowed in 2018, just like wow, I now have people are actual friends that I can reach out, chill, and stuff like that, and that was really cool. 2019, I think, is where it turned into where you could call it an addiction. I started the podcast. I started hopping on with a lot of friends. Started spending a lot of time exclusively with this game, and recently, last 2 years, I kind of fell off a little bit for other reasons. But yeah, that was my main addiction years.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely. I have a reliance on VRChat. Social interaction outside of it is basically non-existent for me. So VRChat ends up being the only place that I can socialize. And humans really are social creatures by nature.
Yes.
Even those that are antisocial are still wanting social interaction. They just don't want to seek it as much.
I think what weaned me off of the VRChat last couple of years wasn't that I didn't need the social interaction. Is that I found another means to fulfill that social need of mine, which became Destiny, which I released a video on YouTube, plugging myself, by the way. But I released a video on YouTube, and the title is The Amount of Hours on Destiny. Within around the same period of time, I have 3,400 hours on Destiny. So I in a weird way, I was in a different social, but very similar aspect. A lot of friends, a lot of raiding, a lot of stuff like that. Where in VRChat, I was doing a lot of conversations, a lot of podcasts, and stuff like that on there. And I think I still, I think in a way, we all need to have some kind of social interaction between each other. But one did kind of fulfill it better. So I've just transferred my addiction from one place to another, haven't gotten rid of it.
Yeah. So with that, if a lot of people use VRChat for their social interaction, I think it's perfectly fine and acceptable to do that, as long as you're developed enough and have had real life social interactions enough to know the difference between the two and what you're going to get out of it and what you're going to lack out of it. Whereas if kids get in VRChat and it's the only game they play and they don't ever play anything else and they're always in VRChat and they never go outside and never go hang out with their friends IRL, I don't think it's healthy for them as they're growing up to see VRChat as the only real social interaction for them.
I feel like I can add on that just because, my daughter also plays this game too. And one thing I find strange when you get hurt, when you get kids in general, I think you gotta be a gamer parent nowadays if you're gonna be, because you gotta be able to watch. How you doing, G? You gotta be able to be able to manage what they're going to experience, because you're the most experienced person in that dynamic and what they're going to go through. And nowadays we live in a world where I've come from the age of get out the house, go do something, go ride your bike for an hour, and that still like it still feels normal. But today, most parents out there, like they're afraid. I'm along with that. You can't just go outside. What if someone grabs you? What if someone does this or whatever? You don't know who's going to be out there. So somehow online friendships and online social interaction it's become the safer option in a way. It doesn't truly develop because I think I mean I've been in trouble on the outside. Get your bumps and scrapes and fights and stuff like that. But I almost feel like it's weird that we're eliminating that entirely.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like a kid growing up needs to be outside, needs to be experiencing the world outside. Even if there's dangers to it, you have to experience that. If you are held inside your whole time growing up, and you never go outside, you never go out and get in trouble, never go out and get into some sort of thing that you're gonna get injured from doing or something. If you don't get some bumps and scrapes and realize, hey, I probably shouldn't do these things, but doing all these other things is perfectly fine, then you're not gonna develop as a person. You're gonna be lacking in certain aspects, and just social interaction online solely doesn't give you those. So it doesn't even mimic it in the end.
I feel like I can add more to that, but Vampy's got something. I'll let Vampy go first.
Instead of wording it with bumps and scrapes, it's eating your pounded dirt. Because every kid used to do something like that. Go out there, do something dumb, put something into your mouth, and...
I'm guilty. I am guilty.
I went to school with a kid that had some mental problems going on, and we read the book How to Eat Fried Worms in class, and this was like 4th or 5th grade.
Oh God, I remember that book.
So he goes out on the playground at recess, and it's like spring, so there's a bunch of worms coming up out of the ground. He's like, "Oh, I found a worm!" Like, what the fuck, dude? He ate like 30 worms that day.
Okay, I'm gonna be right back.
Kids need to do stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, not exactly eating worms, but witnessing another kid eat worms.
Kid. I was called the fucking pyro kid because I used to rake leaves together and then grab the magnifying glass and let's see it burn. See how big of a fire I can make in school.
You're trying to unlock the arsonist tree in your fucking crime town.
I had a similar sort of thing going on. So when I was in 8th or 9th grade, my dad bought an old house that was run down, falling apart right next to his. And I got to go in there and destroy everything I wanted to, tear it down and expose some of the framing and see if we wanted to rebuild it or not. And with doing that, I gutted the bathroom and took this this solid metal with enamel coating bathtub out of this place. And I was like, fuck yeah, bathtub bonfires. So I was burning parts of the house in the bathtub every night after school. I had a fucking fire going in that bathtub for 3 weeks nonstop.
Oh
my god. Also something else to throw out there too, just with kids and the other options. A lot of them have been kind of removed. I remember there being tons of playgrounds scattered everywhere. I mean, there's the McDonald's, some of the Burger Kings had them, some of the mom and pop shop had some kind of kids play place and stuff like that. A lot of times you think about where would you go meet your friends and stuff like that. It's at a playground. That's where it starts. The playgrounds are the real IRL VR chat, and because of housing development or whatever it is, I was complaining to one old person that's at my job, whatever. Just how I was in the apartments, and they don't have benches anywhere between the apartments, around the apartments. How the fuck do I know these people around me? This is just me as an adult. But I remember just 90s, there was this camaraderie that was kind of there. I can just with these people, like even if I never knew them before, I would just go, "Hey, what you guys doing?" And they'll be like, "Oh, someone new. Let's do something." All that seems to be like kind of gone from like IRL life. At least a lot of the major cities that I've kind of lived in. It just doesn't seem to be there.
Yeah.
And there's still some in the garage. You go into someone's garage and grab a beer.
Even in a small town like where I live, like it's, I have seen over the last 10 years, even just the last 10 years, it's changed a lot. People don't really go hang out. The only place people hang out in town is at the bar.
I kid you not, Turtle, before I got on, I was talking to you because I was stuck in a meeting and stuff like that. I'm getting home. I am in a place where I'm thinking, where I meet more people during meetings, during work meetings, than I do outside of work. Like my work life is more social than my external life, on there. So it's crazy. I kind of blame there's this weird system like, yeah, we're addicted to games, but then again, we're removing the other options that were so much better.
Yeah. I mean, even like social media, I think, is what sort of started the disconnect, because people don't have to go outside to get their gossip. They don't have to go sit at a bench and wait for someone else to show up and just have a conversation while feeding the birds. You just go on Facebook and you're going to see all the beef in your town on your town's Facebook page.
I remember I had this intern. He was like, came into the office one day and he was like totally like upset about something that happened on Twitter. And like, man, why aren't you mad? And like, because I'm not on Twitter. I mean, like, if this is the options I get, I mean, I could just not be on Twitter and just be fucking happy. Like, did you see what this? No, I didn't. And actually, don't tell me about it, because it's pissing you off. I'm already in a good mood. Don't ruin this for me. I'm happy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my perspective of VRChat. Being addicted to VRChat and using it for good purposes, perfectly fine and acceptable, as long as you understand the differences, right? And I mean, that should go for any social platform, any like Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, if that even still exists.
Well, there's us talking about it, but we have I think everybody here has a background of somewhere in 90s, somewhere 2000s, right? If you have a background there, then you've seen a landline phone, an actual landline phone before, right? But we can't even say that about all the adults that are currently out now. They don't have that background. Their background is VRChat, is Call of Duty, is Minecraft. And so I think in a way we're going to see a world where it's going to get so socially awkward. We don't even know where it's already there in a way. Let's look at TikTok. That's why it's so weird. I feel like the old boomer that's talking about like kids nowadays don't know what they're, but in a way it's true. Like, it felt more natural. There's less suavemente when people are talking to each other. You meet each other for the first time. It's missing some of that panache. Welcome back.
Didn't even know you were gone.
I said I'd be on, motherfucker. I'm gonna JoJo pose on you the next time we meet. Just for that.
I don't even know what that means.
Pose. I'm gonna just Dio pose
my headphone
on you,
backwards. I'm like looking like, who the heck is talking to me to my
Yeah, I'm gonna full on Dio pose on you, Turtle.
How do you feel about what we're talking about here? Like, do you agree it's not that bad as long as you understand the differences in how it's going to feel or how it should feel? Is Circuitry alive or did he die? Well then.
Yes?
He might have said something you didn't pay attention, motherfucker.
Sorry, I'm in conversation with Xavion about addiction to VRChat, today's topic. And I think we're having a good conversation here. about it. We're pretty much saying the same thing, just a tiny little different based on our age difference.
Yeah. Well, my new social media is Helldivers 2, so get on my level.
Actually, I think that's an excellent way to talk about it. Before VrChat, there was World of Warcraft
from the 90s,
which I think was a weird granny way to get into a social life. There was no Discord, there wasn't TeamSpeak. It was just, cranky ass what do you call it, Ventrilo, if you know that. Oh my god.
Oh god.
But yeah, cranky ass Ventrilo, and a lot of times we weren't using that. What we did back in the day in order to speak to each other while playing World of Warcraft, and we're talking about vanilla, not any expansions, any updates. I had my phone with buttons and no glass on speaker with my wife in the same room with my other friends who were in the dorm rooms. They were in the dorms and they're on speaker. And sometimes I wasn't fast enough to type, so I would yell, "Hey, tell Jerry I'll be back in 5 minutes." And they're typing back and forth in the chat. That was social life. That was social life. And it was great for what it was. It was the best thing, that you had at the time. People got married in VrChat. I'm kind of debating in that situation. Kind of getting married within VrChat. Me and my wife kind of met with, we connected with that game very well. And not VrChat, sorry, World of Warcraft, not VrChat. And and then we start seeing like VrChats on the rise, and then other games are all on the rise with different connecting. I think in a way, I think social life, similar to playgrounds, are gravitating towards video games.
Not necessarily
of course.
a bad thing.
Well, monkey bars and swing sets being replaced with iPads and laptops, yeah, I'd say it's a pretty big deal.
Oh man,
because that just means that the kids are going to be less active.
Shouts out circuitry on that one. I like that line.
But here's the thing. Funny thing. I actually watched a video today do you know Papa Meat? Have you heard that guy?
No.
Watch his videos? He's the one who runs the crazy cartoon channel called Meat Canyon, and makes all those fucked up cartoons.
Yes.
So he made
like
a video about the
Minecraft.
McDonald's. No. Like he did the Minecraft. He did the Ed, and Eddie cartoon, which is fucked up, by the way. I wouldn't recommend watching it. But he did a video on the McDonald's Play Place, and he actually went through like the entire history of how playgrounds evolved over time. And America didn't have its first playground built until 1887 at the Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. But the one before that got built was in Germany in 1848. It's kind of wild that it took that long to build a fucking playground. Otherwise, the kids are just running around.
Before that, the forests were the playground. You would go find a river, play with that, play in the river, whatever. But
climb trees. That's what I did.
Here's the crazy thing that's been happening recently, the last like 10, 15 years or so. So playgrounds used to be like, if you slip, you're gonna get a scrape, you're gonna get cut, you might fall off of this thing, you might fall off of that thing, get a bump on your head, whatever, but you'll be fine. But now, in the last like 10 or 15 years, I'm gonna label them as Karens. Karens that have kids, their kid gets hurt, so they sue the city or whoever owns that park, making the city remove those things that injured their kid, because little Timmy should not be getting cut at a public park.
Not wrong at all. In fact, that's liability is why.
I think that's causing.
I didn't watch. Yeah, I didn't watch that video,
that's
but
causing it to back towards.
Yeah, I believe it was liability because businesses looked at it as like, oh, well, we don't want lawsuits, so we'll we'll take off the kids' play park and stuff like that, and instead, what we'll do is people can come in and they can feel like they're in a cafe because cafes are fresh, and they was doing that for a while. McCafe.
Even
McDonald's
even
place,
the park that I grew up next to, I don't know, I still to this day do not know why, but they had like monkey bar swings, so like there was this big bar above you, and there were these little triangle handles that were hooked into it, and you could grab one, swing to the next, grab the next, swing, and go like 4 or 5 across. Just one day, they randomly took those handles down and said, nope, you can't swing on these anymore. And my guess is because some kid swung, fell down, and had to go to the hospital over it. And the city was like, oh no, we're going to get a lawsuit. And doing that just removes kids. Like, you want to feel a little bit of danger. And if you can't feel danger, what are they going to fucking do? They're going to go online and get in dangerous situations that way. You know, that's why there's so many kids running around. That's why there's so many kids running around in VRChat screaming slurs at everyone, screaming horrible things, calling people really bad things. I think that's why there's so many kids doing that in VRChat now.
Solely because of lack of being jumped. I mean, since they're not risked to being jumped in IRL land. Let's say you say something to piss someone off, they can swing at you. That helps you out so much socially. When you want to say the right lines to a girl, we'll say it. You see it all the time in VRChat. Are you a chick? Can I see your titties? And you know that's VRChat. You know, talk. Say that IRL. That chick will swing on you. Her brother will swing on you. Some other just met her. And the dog.
Yeah.
I think this because that risk factor, you know, is there. It's just, it's hard to put into words why it's so different.
It's so weird. There's so little repercussion for doing something in VRChat. So you kids do more risky things, say more risky things in VR and online in general, compared to if they were doing all these things at a park in real life. You're going to have that 1 or 2 kids out of 30 or 40 that are considered the bully and bashing on everyone else because they're insecure about themselves usually. But overall, you have most kids just wanting to go hang out with their friends, have a good time, and swing on something where, hey, they know they might get injured, but holy shit, it's so much fun.
Or at the very least,
it's just like why roller coasters are so fun for everyone, because we crave danger. Human nature craves danger and thrill. Yeah.
This makes
and if we can't get it, then we're gonna figure out a way to feel those same things, and that's why all the horrible things happen in VRChat.
You know what?
And online in general.
It's not the parks. It's actually when you go out with friends with Game Boy Advances and literally link up. Going to a park just to link up like that.
So, you had those types of experiences. I never did because I live in one of the poorest areas of my state, which is also one of the poor states in the country.
I was thinking about like the rich kids who had the Game Boys with the link cables. Like if you had one, I was like, yeah, I have a Game Boy. Like you could flex with your Game Boy. It's cool before it gets taken. But if you had the Game Boy and you had a friend and you had a link cable because you could play Pokemon and you had both of the colors, the red and the blue, yeah, kids rich. that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean that stuff was expensive back then.
When I got out of elementary school, my thing that everyone grappled onto at the time, because keep in mind I was in junior high around like 99 to 2001, 2002, like around that time. So Yu-Gi-Oh was really big at the time. So we just started all playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and we'd bring our cards to school, make sure the teacher didn't see them, and we'd bring our books, and it's just like we'd trade. And I remember when I got a Gate Guardian out of a Metal Raiders pack, a secret rare Gate Guardian. I had friends of mine offering me, you know, like, I'll trade you this. It's like, god damn, dude, how fucking rare is this goddamn thing? I know it's first edition, but Jesus, it's a fucking Gate Guardian. Dude. It's not gonna do anything. But then again, this is back then.
I have a bunch of super, super old Yu-Gi-Oh cards in a box somewhere. I also have a shit ton of old Magic the Gathering cards.
Oh, that's what we should do.
The Theros.
You know, fuck it. I'm gonna say it. Topps Traders traded. Anybody remember Topps Traded?
Never heard of it.
Baseball cards, basketball cards. I had Michael Jordan, where like you move the card and it's all like shiny and stuff like that. I remember back at the trading baseball card. Holographic, yes. You can get them from like certain like box. I forget what it's called. It's like popcorn, but it's like caramelized. You would go there. You can get it out of the box for some of those cards. Sorry, just reminiscing now.
Nah, I mean, dude, you said tops. My first thought that came to my head was Pogs, because I collected those when I was in 4th grade.
Oh my
going
god!
Into like 5th grade, I had so many I had a whole box full of Pogs, like Power Rangers. I had fucking like every I had Pokemon, I had Digimon, I had so many Pogs at that point. My god.
You know what? Here's a good question with games and activities like that. Comparing that to like a video game now. Video games, you talk to someone online. Pogs, if you're there with somebody, they're there in the room with you. You're in their house, or vice versa. You know, someone's mom is cooking dinner in the background and stuff like that. You know, which one, if you had the choice, would you like to go play an hour of Destiny 2, or dude, let's get on some Yu-Gi-Oh?
I would pick Yu-Gi-Oh because I've never played Destiny.
Yeah, exactly. Yu-Gi-Oh!
Or Helldivers.
I don't have Helldivers either.
That would be difficult.
I would say
Helldivers is fun.
If I had to play a toxic match of Yu-Gi-Oh versus playing 6 hours of Skyrim, I'll take the 6 hours of Skyrim.
So it seems we've all just come to the conclusion overall now that VrChat, being addicted to VrChat is perfectly fine, but it is definitely not healthy for kids to be addicted to VrChat. As an adult, who gives a fuck, right? We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But kids, they should have other things. Like, most parents are tossing a Quest at their kid and being like, here's your fucking babysitter. Fuck off. Don't bother me.
And they're gonna be like, you know, I like as a father, I'm not sitting there playing with her. She's in a different group. She's a different age. I'm not gonna, pair well. But do I get in there every now and then? Yeah. Do I know who she's talking to and some of their names and have them on my friend list? Yeah. You can still, you still gotta be there. It's like playing Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day. Parents are still in the house, sometimes. So you still want to be around. You still got to supervise. It's your job as a parent. You can't not do your job. Yeah. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, but I mean, I guarantee all of us have witnessed it. Kids are in VrChat. They're in here as young as like 7. Some of them. It's horrible.
Oh, yeah.
And the parents are just, here's the Quest. Don't bother me, and I won't take it away from you. Cool.
Like the modern day version of
in VrChat.
Oh, go ahead.
Then go outside and don't come home until it's dark outside. Yeah.
I was gonna say something similar, except I was gonna say, Timmy, go outside, and if you end up in traffic, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
That's basically modern day VrChat for a 7-year-old.
But VrChat, it's so much worse because you're not going to a park, you're not going riding bike around town with your friends. You're in a room, in real life, you're in a room by yourself. But in VR, you're in a room with people of all sorts of age ranges, backgrounds. I mean, not necessarily a bad thing, but there's a lot of bad actors in the online space. Not just VrChat, literally any game you go to. Yeah. There's going to be bad actors. It's the law of probability, If you're in a room with 10 people and you meet 100 people, one of them is bound to be not there for a good reason.
Well, there's also one thing I want to bring up too.
75 on my friends list by that logic.
With that,
there's a lot of bad apples in your basket, buddy.
I want to say that VrChat isn't.
Nice Titan.
VrChat's the loudest one, but it's definitely not the only one. COD players definitely know those lobbies are and there's 6 years olds and 7-year-olds in those lobbies, and roadblocks and
everything that's bad about VRChat with kids. It's the same thing no matter where you go. It's just VRChat. It's more visible to random people instead of just those that are in that game at the time.
Exactly.
Because, you go to a public world in VRChat, random people are going to come and go. Whereas like other games like Call of Duty, things like that, you join a lobby, you're with the same people for an hour. Join another lobby, you're with the same people for an hour, and half the time none of them are talking. Rarely when they do, it's not always a good experience. I don't play any like FPS or like PvP games myself because I tried when I was like 10, 12, and I wasn't any good. And everyone hated me because I wasn't any good.
Well, yeah, but you understand like the social part though. That I think that's the important part. I mean, we can use Minecraft as a different one. It's a creative, whatever it is. There's
Minecraft was definitely Minecraft
like
was the first place I had social interaction online.
And
like a multimedia
sandbox. Online in general.
Yes, multimedia sandbox. Yeah, and I think that with here's what the scenario is. That this average every day. You got, let's say, Mike. He's just got off work. He's 32, and he just want to kill some people and play some games for a little bit. And then you have let's say Nick. He's 7 years old, and he just got out of school, and he's just gonna play the game. The problem is, the 32-year-old. They've experienced some life and stuff like that, so they're just trying to kick back and relax. Mikey, what is he accomplishing there? Like, what's going on? Why is Nikki, what the kid that's like 7 years old? Like, there should be something else created that works for the Nick kid, the 7-year-old's benefit, that isn't interfering with the 32-year-old who just wanted to get a break because his boss was riding his ass all day for 8 hours straight and barely a lunch. It's just two characters that shouldn't be in the same room and do not want to be.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen
Definitely.
in the 90s. That happens every day today.
Yeah. I mean, back in the 90s, you 90s, 2000s even, go to a park, go outside. The adults are going to be at like Dave & Buster's, adult places, bars, whatever.
Yeah.
Or sitting on a bench in a park by a river. Kids aren't going to be sitting on a bench in a park by a river. They're going to be at the playground.
Exactly.
So
but if you play Call of Duty for a majority of your life, you're going to end up like in a van down by the river.
Yeah. What I'm saying, like the difference there used to be a natural separation because kids and adults weren't into the same things. Adults don't want to go playing on a fucking playground that's built for tiny little motherfuckers. They want to go chill, relax, and watch the birds and watch the river go by.
I remember as a kid, this line said to me, but it makes a lot of sense now. Quiet, the adults are talking. Don't you wish you could say that line? Hey, adults are talking. You guys got to leave. We're here. You guys got to go.
I
something.
have legitimately heard people do that in VRChat, chilling in a public black cat by one of the mirrors. Kid walks up while other people are talking. Kid says, "Hey guys, I want to tell you something." Shut the fuck up. The adults are talking. Legitimately, that exact scenario. And I was just like, well, I'm not drunk enough. Holy shit.
Good on them, actually. Maybe we should just make that a trend. We're just going to start, pretending like we're their parents and just start yelling at them.
I'm going to commission.
Go do your homework.
I'm going to commission
Jimmy.
an avatar. I'm going to commission an avatar that's a sign that's like has like. I'll just measure him and just see. Okay, then I'll transform into this avatar. You must be this tall to talk to me. And it's literally going to be way taller than the fucking avatar.
Guys, merch ideas? Can we get that?
Can we get that on a shirt?
Jeez. No, you know what? I'll toss this out here since we're getting close to the end today. I'll toss this out real quick. If anyone wants to put together a cool image logo of some sort for the Beyond Pixels podcast, I will put it up behind us as our backsplash instead of just the text.
Ooh, getting fancy.
And I'm thinking like some sort of a cool image that's like the words slowly pixelating out of a hole or some shit. You know, it's hard to like. I have this idea in my head, but we're going beyond the pixel, so. You know, you get what I'm saying?
Colors, turtle, throw out the colors. What kind of colors are we looking at?
Oh man, I don't even know. What colors should the fucking black and red?
I'm
Maybe
thinking
blue and green.
I feel like
I'm imagining
Black, red,
pixels, a mix of like blue and
black,
kind of
red,
magenta.
blue, green.
No,
Ooh,
blue and magenta
yeah.
with like a white text.
Yeah.
Like same color as this asshole
Blue
next to it.
and magenta.
If someone makes that, I'll toss you some money or something. I don't know. We'll do something cool there. Anyway, okay. Any last thoughts here about the topic today? About addiction to VrChat? Bad, good? Any change in your perspective of it yet? Because I've been doing this little extra thing. So since we're talking about these topics and we're all learning and forming our own opinions on them every time, right? I kind of want to start doing just a little recap at the end of every episode where we go over, like, did our opinion or our view or our understanding of the topic change from the beginning to now? So, has anyone's opinions on addiction to VrChat changed in the last 45 minutes?
Hard to say whether it's changed. I was going to throw something out earlier too. That I think the Quest error definitely affected how the kids' actions was to VrChat as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't think it's I agree with you on that. It's not bad. It's just it needs, you know,
like any good thing, it can be overdone.
Catering.
Can I ask a curious question? Just I'm throwing this out there just because it does pop into my head, and I don't know what you said, but it's just like I don't know why, but that's such a good question. Do you think that the pandemic actually introduced new addicts into the game? People
definitely.
who never heard the game,
100%.
played the game,
Oh yeah.
but as soon as they started playing, they got hooked and they couldn't stop.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I've met a lot of people like that play VrChat every single day, and they only started during the pandemic stuff when they didn't have anything else to do.
For me, I think it's like similar to what I was going through when I first found VrChat. I was just living in just the work drone. I could go into work. I do my work live. I wasn't even playing video games. Like I really, wasn't doing anything outside. Come home, do the home stuff, go to sleep next day. And then I got into VrChat, and it's just like, oh, you want to talk to me? Oh, sure. And it's not about some, sure, yeah. I'm actually hanging out. I'm actually talking to people. And it was a great thing that was like missing from like, my normal social bubble. But I think in a way, the world was already turning from, it's introverting into itself around me. So there wasn't much that I would be able to go out there and do without spending like a $200, $500, $1,000 just to go have some fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shit. VrChat, addiction, goes hand in hand. You're either going to be addicted to the game or you're going to be addicted to doing something inside the game.
True.
I would say it's not an addiction unless you can manage it properly. Like, just like, for example, like if you're a kid, like let's say you're in 4th or 5th grade, 6th grade, I can't stop you from getting online. I don't think any of us can. We can say no, please, do it if you're going to, be careful if you're going to do it. But I would say don't come on until after you've eaten your dinner and you've cleaned your room and you've done your fucking homework. Do it as a reward rather than just immediately jumping online as a compulsion. All right, that's what I would say.
Wait. I just thought of something here, Turtle. I'm not sure how much more time, but there's a whole another dimension of this conversation I didn't even think about, actually. Since we're talking about addiction, we're talking about addiction, right? So usually when you have an addiction, you're doing stuff that's harming your actual life with VrChat. We've definitely explored kids and their reaction to the game and what they're not touching. But what about like the actual other harms? Just people who sleep in VrChat, wake up, lose their job, try to get another one. That are like really like socially crushing their lives just so they can play this game. Relationships have ended because it's and other darker situations have happened with the addiction to VrChat. I mean, think about how many people have spent, let's say, $4,000 or more, but only work at like Denny's, works at McDonald's. They're putting all their money and not trying to do anything better with their lives. I think that's a whole dimension that I think that definitely could be talked about in itself. I think really can strike with some people who are in that type of situation.
Like
I don't
the
think
ones that aren't living within their means is what you're mentioning, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so 100%, I do know some people that they play VrChat. They don't have a job. They don't want to get a job. They just want to fuck around in VrChat and wait for someone to come along, pick them up, and pay for everything for them.
Yeah.
People using VrChat solely as a relationship thing, a relationship builder,
a reality replacement
to get out of wherever they're at. Yeah, that's definitely not healthy. I feel like I'm looking in a fucking mirror right now saying that.
Mister, I get drunk in VR. I fall asleep in VR.
Wait.
I try to date everyone I meet in VR.
wait. Here's where we can let's use Turtle as like the bar here, right? So Turtle has a good reason why he needs to have a social life in VR. He's not in like New York City, Miami or something like that. There's not like tons of people around when there are things to do on it. This is a lot to do. There's a lot of great things. So for someone in a small town, this makes a lot of sense. He's eating. He's got food. He's got a job, and he's taking care of himself. And hopefully, go to the doctor every now and then. It looks like he's still, okay. You need to go to a doctor. But
once every couple of years when I feel like I'm dying.
I told him that years ago.
Do you feel like IRL that you're unhealthy?
Nah, mostly. I mean, as healthy as I can be after the things I've gone through. So,
in that case, then I think we're looking at people that are at similar connection to you to VrChat, but their IRL life isn't healthy because of it. I think that will be the line. You might straddle it very well. I think you do straddle it very well, which is surprising. But I've seen people that definitely have fell off of the deep end on it and are not taking care of themselves. If you feel like you're called out, yes, I'm talking about you. She's cute though.
If you just get on VrChat on the weekends and give the fuck up on like going out to the bar on the weekends, I think VrChat's a good replacement for going and spending a bunch of money at the bar every weekend.
Hell yeah!
I legitimately use it for that because going to the bar is expensive. Staying home and drinking,
not only
man.
Oh, maybe you should cut back a little on the
I definitely agree with that. Xavier,
I
was going to actually ask you because if you had to put together a checklist for people, like, let's say, Turtle's the bar. Okay, what do you have to do if you're under that bar? What's the checklist? Like, what do you have to do before you say, hey, now you can comfortably play VR chat? Like, you need to get a job. You need to make sure your car is paid off, pay off your debt, make sure that your rent's paid, all that stuff.
I think in a way,
make sure you don't have any things you have to do. As long as your life is fine, you're not struggling. I mean, even if you are struggling financially, but you have a job and you're trying, use VR chat as the way to just escape from that.
Yeah, I don't
just
think that,
don't
like,
use
if
VR
you're
chat
healthy,
to
you're
avoid
fine.
IRL responsibilities.
Exactly. Like, hey, you're about to lose your house, you're about to lose your car and stuff like that, which is like general neglect. But let's say, like, just say you're someone who's like me, right? I really have to manage my time online, and maybe the hours didn't really show that I do a great job of that. But I'm still a father. I still have a kid. I have to, still do, the husband responsibilities and stuff like that. And if I start neglecting that for VR chat, and that's what I've seen a lot of, then yeah, I'm going to get divorced. I'm going to lose my kid. I'm going to have to find some other situation. If I don't keep up the finances, then, all of a sudden there's a couple other people that I'm responsible for that kind of get dropped, that kind of get dropped off. And I think for a lot of younger folks, I think it's why you got to stick with, really starting your life and getting to that next level of where I see the problem. But I have seen, like, where, dude, you have a child, you have a kid, you're always here. Or, do you hang out? Do you see them? Did you see them this week? That type of situation. And I cut back a lot with VR chat, with streaming, because hey, I gotta put some time in to myself a lot too.
Well, yeah, the way you put it, it sounds self-destructive in a way, and that's really what bothers me, is the fact that it feels like if you were willing to lose your house, your job, all your stuff, this just seems like you're, in a way, it's just like, fuck it, I don't care, I'm gonna enjoy the last of my days, and that just seems like absolutely self-destructive, and it's sad to think about.
I feel like the best part about VR chat is it allows the older generation to still get around and convert.
Oh yes.
The people who can't work anymore and they still want to be able to, like, get out and communicate with them.
Well, I would say that the line of, can you guess my age? And someone says 20, and I'm like, oh, you're so nice. You're so nice.
You really do sound like you're in your 20s. I'm going to be real, so.
I know.
But to be fair,
and I am not.
I posted pictures of myself on Twitter. People say I look like I'm in my mid-20s, and when I tell them my actual age, they're like, God damn, what do you do? I shave. That's what I do. I shave. That's the secret.
We had the military day, and I was the most veteran there. So.
Okay. So, I just kind of had my headset crash for a second, and I'm amazed that I'm still in VR right now. That's cool. But
Turtle in the balls? What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, you're
go. Oh,
I swear to God, you just jumped up an octave like someone's playing yo-yo with your testicles right now.
Oh my God! Give this man a testicle.
Make him drop again. Give him testosterone.
Like a train conductor grabbed your testicles thinking he was grabbing the right string.
Pull.
You know what? You should make that a redeem. Like, find out how to get your voice to do that, and just make that like a channel point.
The only way to make my voice do this is to have my headset crash in a very particular way.
Get a voice.
Technology.
Just give me a second. I'm gonna
just
reboot
imagine,
it.
like, unless then you sneeze one day and all of a sudden you just have a female's voice that's just coming out of your mouth. Just doesn't matter how you look. This all of a sudden, oh my!
My mental image right now is the dog jumped up and headbutt his nuts.
If that happened to me, I'd be crank calling every Mickey D's and Wendy's saying, "Hey, I'm dying of AIDS. Can I get a free burger?"
Okay. I should sound back to normal now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're good. You're good.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for the night. Thank you all for being here, talking about the addictions to VR chat and how that affects kids and adults differently. Good times. But we're going to do the regular thing. We're going to do it in a little different order than before. So, Beyond Pixels Podcast, live on Twitch, on TurtleDude01 on Twitch, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. You can also find previous episodes on YouTube. There's a playlist somewhere on YouTube with that. You can check that out. There's always a link down below to join the Discord, give your input on what topics we should talk about, maybe even get to join in on one of the episodes to talk about some topic. If you've got one, hit us up, let us know. Let's do it. But now we're going to do the other part. So, Xavion, go ahead and do your shilling, whatever you want to call it.
Sure, why not? I got a new video on YouTube that's out. Created with my editor, Minted Dorito. He's actually stepped up to the game and put an awesome video in there for you guys. There's just a lot of digging in me because I didn't edit it, and I like to make myself look gorgeous. But go check that out, and yeah, much love.
Send me a link to that, and I'll put it in the description if I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I'll remind him.
Vampy.
Alright, you can find me at Twitch at @Sir_Bloodworth. Beyond that, I am still working on building my new PC so that way I can get back to streaming. It's gonna take some time. That's the unfortunate part. Because I'm buying piece by piece. Next is the
and circuitry.
Oh, you bunny fuck. You can find me on all socials, YouTube, Kick, Twitch. I also stream on Rumble, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll be starting very, very soon, possibly after Mother's Day. So look forward to that. I'm very excited about it. If you see me on TikTok, it's not me. Report that account. I fucking hate that website.
No, it's totally you. It's always you on TikTok. You're my favorite TikTok creator. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I'll see you guys on the next one. Wait, hang on. What are we going to talk about next week? We didn't talk about that yet. Does anyone have an idea?
I also don't have a question for them to ask in the in the comments.
Well, circuitry. Let's use my father's joke.
No.
Laying in bed between a gay man and a girl. Who do you turn your back to?
Vampy, no.
In the comments, answer.
No. No.
Do it.
Actually, actually, I have a better one. It just came to me because we did talk a lot about it in the podcast. Did you play a trading card game in the past, or do you still play one today? Like, what's your favorite trading card game? It could be Harry Potter, it could be Pokemon, could be Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, could be Magic the Gathering, anything. Just put it down below. I'd like to know what your favorite card game is.
I have one too. And
as for topics, because I think we touched on it a little, I kind of want to touch it. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was thinking talking about how, if we are going to talk to children in video games, like how interactions between adults and children should actually be handled.
You know, I think that's a good one, but that's going to be a really interesting, controversial topic.
I love it.
I got one that's not controversial.
What do you got?
All right. Okay, popular memes in VrChat. We know the Uganda Knuckles. We know the furries.
Yeah.
We know
yeah.
this.
Okay, that's next week. That's next week right there. The memes of VrChat.
He got me beat.
Meme history.
He got me beat.
The meme history of VrChat. Let me just write that down.
No, fuck it. You can watch my topic.
Yeah,
on
that's
Rumble.
going to be next week's topic. So next week we're talking about the meme history of VrChat.
Well, we can
That's
watch
going to be a great one.
Hey.
I'm going to have to see if I can get a couple people on because I know.
We need to
you got some calls to make.
Cobra.
I know you have some calls to make.
We need Cobra for
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
we
do.
Cobra for it. Without Cobra, it's
You know
just not
what?
going to be the same.
You might have to bribe some people, so you know.
We'll have to bribe
I'm gonna
Cobra's
message
girlfriend.
I'm
get
trying to think what's
get both
called
Cobra and
the
his
one.
girlfriend in on it. Oh god.
Oh hell, I mean.
I might just pin your narrator on this one. See if he's be down.
Oh damn.
He's one of them. He is one of the beams.
We're gonna head out for the night. Good having you guys. See you on the next one.
It's gonna be a hell of a weekend.
Hell yeah.